Hey guys, we are starting week 3 here of our ICT200 class, section 203, and I hope you can hear my voice okay. I'm still recovering from some laryngitis, and so maybe just put in some earbuds and bear with me. I'm going to try to cover a couple of weeks just to make sure everybody knows where we are and to cover some basic material. And this video might be a little longer than usual, but I'll definitely keep it to 15 minutes. I just want to cover the basics and make sure we're off to a good start together. So the first thing I want to show you is our Canvas shell. I'm in student view, so this should look familiar. When you log into Canvas, this should be what you see your home page. And then I want to draw your attention here on the right-hand side to your to-do list. So we have attendance week 2, which is coming up and is due on September 3rd. And that evening, I'll send an email reminder for last minute submissions on that. And then your personal intro is due on September 5th. And remember, if you click on either of these links, it's going to take you to the directions and the submission form for that particular assignment. We have some students that have already submitted that. If you're starting a discussion board thread, which a lot of our attendance is, and some of our additional assignments also are submissions onto the discussion board, you hit reply underneath the main prompt. And in doing that, you will be starting your own thread that has your own response there. And then if you're viewing another student, another colleague's piece here, if you wanted to respond to Alexis, to use her as an example, you would click this reply, and then you would be responding to her, as we can see some folks have done. So if you have questions about how to use Canvas, I've answered a few questions via email, and I'm going to kind of taper off doing that. I know at the beginning technology is quirky, but this help function here is really valuable. And then you can also, from the UK website, find the IT help desk. If you feel like you really have an issue that's not just, I don't know how to do this, but just I have no idea why I can't get onto Canvas or something big, please make sure you contact the IT help desk, because I do not have any sort of access to help students. I can't get in the back of a system and see where you are and clear your access or anything like that. I just can't do it. So make sure that you are proactive in contacting the help desk. So if we go back home here, I just want to recap some readings for you. This is our textbook, and we should be up through page 40 this week. We're on week 3 here, and I'm going to post this video right here to the top once it's done. But the textbook is just a very good baseline for the concepts that we're talking through together. And so the main readings that we have a critical thinking reading, we have the multitasking reading that we interacted with for our attendance last week, and then we have a creativity and problem solving piece, which is interesting, and then we have Bloom's taxonomy. So very quickly, I'm going to go over a couple of those pieces with you, and I'm going to do that by tabbing over to this PDF here for the Venn diagram that you'll see. I'm going to try to break this down. I know online it can be a little bit of a challenge. So when we talk about creative thinking, and we talk about critical thinking, and we talk about problem solving, some of this reading can feel a little confusing because we wonder where one concept starts and the other begins. And there is a lot of overlap. So we want to look at main ideas here. So when you all read, and please do read, I hope it's not too many pages, just try to get through it, try to get through the reading, and try to come back and make some synthesis from that, because you will be needing the concepts in the reading to complete both your attendance and your assignments that you get the most of the points for in this particular class. We don't do quizzes anymore in this particular class, and so you need to be able to make notes about main concepts and then put those back into your assignment submissions. If you don't do that, that's always a big part of the rubric. So for instance, your case study assignment, which is your first major assignment that comes up in I think about 2 weeks, and you really do have to incorporate individual terms and concepts from the reading, and that will be a large part of your grade. So just make a note of that, and even if sometimes the reading is hard to get through, make notes of major terms and come back and watch the videos and try to pull that together and synthesize that, and then apply what you've learned in those readings to the completion of your assignment. So with creative thinking, what we have here is we have, didn't like how that highlighted, we have the purpose here, which is to generate something new. So that's your main goal with creative thinking. And then marks of creative thinking are a fluid, organic process, originality, innovation, and novelty. I borrowed this from another instructor who's also teaching in this section, so I want to let you know that I did borrow this. But when we think about creative thinking, the focus is on the generation of something new, and we're not inhibiting that process at all. It's about novelty, it's about originality. A lot of people would put brainstorming into this kind of creative thinking. So the goal is just to get it out there, to generate something new, and to not really harness those ideas in any way. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, we have critical thinking, and the purpose here is to improve thinking or actions based on thoughts, or based on how we are approaching them through thinking and cognitive skills. So we have separate assumptions and facts. We have objectivity, and we have a focus on avoiding opinion and bias. And the focus is on in-depth thinking. So with critical thinking, this might be our pro-con list. So if you want to think of creative thinking as brainstorming, critical thinking, one way to do critical thinking is through a pro-con list. You're going to have to try to find the black and white in an issue. You're going to try to separate assumptions and opinions from facts, and the facts are what you're going to try to focus on. So data is going to play a big role in critical thinking, and objectivity is going to play a big role in critical thinking. When we come down to problem solving, we are looking at a purpose of finding a solution. So problem solving is specifically working toward a goal of resolving some sort of issue and problem that's stated. So we have a goal in front of us. It isn't free thinking. It's trying to get a solution for a particular problem. And then we're going to decrease the distance between what is and what we want to be. So we have the goal there that we're working toward, and we have it set out, and it's a very objective goal. And then we need to use existing methods. So we need to think about what it is that we have at our disposal in order to help us solve a problem. Now, you can combine any of these two things, and then you can combine all three terms, really. So in the chapter that we will read for this week, it talks about creative problem solving. So creativity and problem solving, and where these two meet, is to bring this idea of innovation to expand this concept of existing methods. So with problem solving, we're stuck with existing methods, but if we do creative problem solving, we can explore possibilities and new possibilities because we're bringing originality to the table. Over here, if we have creative thinking and critical thinking, and we combine the two processes, it becomes more dynamic. We can tolerate ambiguity, so we can say over here on this side, well, we might not know this right now, but let's at least note this. Let's explore this possibility. And again, that ties into openness, so you can see how those two work together. With critical thinking and problem solving, we do have a defined element that we're working with, but we can work through a system of critically thinking about solving the problem and helping define the issue in a very focused way by using facts and avoiding opinion. Now, all three come together in where we are evaluating. So in order to appropriately evaluate anything, we're going to have to bring all three of these pieces together. When we have an overarching goal, if we have a large project or a large goal of some sort to achieve, we're going to need all three pieces. And just the simple, which is not so simple when you break it down, act of having knowledge requires that we bring all of these three together. So I wanted to go over this with you. I'm going to upload this particular Venn diagram. I think it helps you see that anytime we talk about cognition and different elements of cognition, we are really going to have to pull all three of these things together. We're going to have to learn how they interact. To go back over here to Bloom's taxonomy, in this particular piece, what you'll see is, what I want you to see is there is a move from the nouns of having these particular things to the verb form of doing certain things. And so the most valuable piece of this article, in my opinion, that I'd like you to focus on is about halfway through, and it says taxonomies of cognitive domain. So review these, and these are kind of different pieces of how we talk about learning, or how we talk about knowledge, how we gather knowledge, different levels, hierarchies of learning. All of these things are kind of hitting on the same basic topic. And so please familiarize yourself with this taxonomy, with these verbs, with these nouns, with the way that we talk about all of these different concepts that really start to help us break down how we think and interact with the concept of knowledge and the concept of learning. So, bringing us back to Canvas, I'm going to upload that PDF of the Venn diagram here. I'm going to upload the video that I'm currently working on here as well. And for week 3, I expect you to review both of those to be caught up on the reading. We don't have textbook reading this week. We do have chapter 2 from last week, which again is kind of another method. They talk about the WISE approach, which stands for wonder, investigate, speculate, and evaluate. And that is another way to break down this whole approach to problem solving, thinking, cognition. So again, another sort of method that we can use in this area. But this is week 3, readings and attendance. And don't forget that up here on your to-do list, your personal intro is due, and your comments for your colleagues are also due. 2 comments are also due, and I believe, let's check that together. Yes, Sunday, September 10th. So that is also due. Please make sure that you are completing all portions in order to get your full points. And please make sure that when you submit something on Canvas, you go back and click on it and review it. Make sure that it's clear. Make sure that it's there. Make sure that if you're doing something that is several words, an assignment, that you don't just type in the text box. I always recommend that you start on a Word document or a Pages document and save that, and then copy and paste in or upload the document, so that in case a glitch were to happen with Canvas, so you don't lose that. But always go back and double check and make sure that what you think you've submitted is submitted. And yeah, so that's our reminders for this week, that this week it's just attendance, but we do have some work up ahead on this case study, and keeping up with your reading is really going to help you be successful there, because you will need terminology in order to complete that. And if you have any questions, please continue to email me. Please stay in touch. I know it can be hard to lecture via the internet, these videos. I try to make them short when possible, and in the future they will be a little bit shorter, trying to get kind of 2 weeks in with this one video. I think everybody's doing really well so far. Everything that I've graded so far has been quality work, so I appreciate that. If you need anything from me this week, please email me as soon as possible so we can get a solution and an answer for you. And I hope you all have a good week.